Let's talk about children who have challenges with hair brushing and huge sensitivities around getting their hair brushed. This is a tough one for a lot of kids. So here are a whack of strategies for you to help get you through this challenging task. The first thing, and you might already do this, but is to make sure if your child has longer hair that you are using a really good conditioner and a detangling spray. So anything you can do to make the hair more smooth and to get rid of some of those knots would be fabulous. The next thing I'm going to suggest is that you look at a detangler brush. So you can get these online from Amazon for about $10, and they have just a bit of a different design to the brush and a really soft bristle, and it's supposed to be much more gentle on your child's hair. The next thing I'm going to suggest is that you consider having your child do more of the hair brushing than you're doing it. So if your child is old enough to hold, have whole hand grasp and hold on to an object, can you start getting them to do the brushing? Maybe you need to start with some hand over hand, teaching them how to do it, but it's usually effective when if you are having an aversion to a certain activity, if you can do it yourself, then you have a lot more control over how the sensations are happening, how much pressure you're putting, when I need to take some of that pressure off so it doesn't pull as hard. Because if you're brushing someone's hair, you don't have that sensory feedback that's happening when you're doing it yourself. So if you can teach your child as early on as possible to do the brushing themselves, you might have a lot more success. And what you can do is you can sort of be their assistant and hold the hair at the scalp so when they're brushing it's not pulling off at the scalp. The next thing I would suggest, if your child cannot participate or refuses to participate, then just like for the teeth brushing, we're going to use that 1, 2, 3 approach where we're going to give them the warning that it's about to happen. And you would do it with as many brushes as you think your child could tolerate. So it might be 1, 2, 3, brush, 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 and then we stop. Or it might just be 1, 2, 3 and 1 brush, depending on how much your child can tolerate. Again, you're gonna work within your child's bandwidth of how much they can tolerate, and that is where you'll start. And then as they get more comfortable and get more used to the sensation and start to learn that nothing bad happens afterwards, you'll be able to gradually expand how long you can get the hair brushing done, and before you know it, you'll probably be able to get the whole head brushed quite quickly. Another way to teach your child about what to expect and what is happening is to use visuals. So I've talked about these before, but again, I can't stress enough, for children with language challenges, we might be saying things to them that we think are really clear, but sometimes a visual picture of what is actually happening and what's going to happen after is much more clear to your child. They can take that information in a lot better. So if you want to have a little picture of hair brushing and then a really fun activity to do afterwards, you could use something like that. Put it on a first then board, or just have the 2 pictures. First we're going to do our hair, and then we're gonna get to go play a super fun game or watch a video or something that's really motivating to your child, to give them the motivation that if I get through this task, I get something super fun, so I'm gonna try really hard to make that happen. Similar again to teeth brushing, we can do a little bit of pressure on the head, and that might just even be holding the hair, and that pressure might be enough for hair brushing to calm down the nervous system and the reactivity to the hair pulling. So that could be another strategy you could try. You could even get your child to put the pressure on their head, and then that leaves you free to tackle their hair. That could be a good way to go about it. You also maybe want to try to do some desensitizing to the scalp. So maybe you could do a nice head massage before you start the activity, and because that's usually a pleasurable sensation for children. And do that, and again, you've got that sensation, the head is kind of warmed up, and then you might have more success. The next thing is going back to doing that heavy muscle work before you do the hair brushing. So you know in advance that your child struggles with hair brushing, so can we do a fun little muscle work activity to help give that calming wash to the full body and the nervous system so that they're a little bit better able to tolerate the sensation of hair brushing after. So you can just pick something fun. You guys could do bear walks around the room. If your child can do a plank, get them doing a plank. You can do a bunch of jumping jacks, anything to sort of get that heart rate going and those muscles moving and to give that body that calming sensation. The last thing I'm just going to say is if you can put the hair brushing in an environment that it tends to be more calming to your child. So if that means getting them out of the bathroom and bringing them in front of the TV or in front of a YouTube video or even outside, just do the activity in a space that they find really comfortable, because that will also help their tolerance to be able to manage the hair brushing in the moment.